My name is Sarah, 42 years old. I've been married to Keith, who is the same age as me, for 18 years. We were blessed with a child, and our son is already 17. He is working for his goal to enter university next year. I have continued to work even after our child was born, and due to my long experience at the company, I have gotten several promotions to a respectable position. Now I'm glad that I've continued working, but initially that was not the case. After getting married, I wanted to devote myself to our home for a while. However, Keith had no savings, and living on his income alone was difficult. Afterward, things came up like having a child and building a house that made money necessary. So honestly speaking, I couldn't quit working. But Keith did not look favorably on this. He works at a local to mid-sized company, and frankly, his salary isn't great, which seems to bother him a lot. I wasn't concerned about his salary. I fell in love with him because of his kind personality. But perhaps Keith dislikes that it seems his wife works because his salary is low, and he doesn't seem to like people knowing about my job. Still, I was satisfied with my fulfilling job, how my child has grown, and that we've even built our dream home. However, there was one major dissatisfaction for me. That is the existence of Keith's sister, Amber. Amber, who is 2 years younger than him and is now 40, lives close to us, just about a 5-minute drive away. The first impression I had when I met her during our marriage introduction was of a friendly and cheerful girl, but our relationship gradually turned sour. Hi, Sarah. Hello. One early morning on the weekend, I answered the doorbell to see Amber and her children standing at the entrance. I grimaced with disgust, but managed to return to the greeting, and without an invitation, Amber and her kids just barged into the house. Is Keith here? Hey, Amber, you came. Keith was not surprised by Amber's sudden appearance and greeted her with a smile. Amber's children, who are 2 boys, one in 4th grade and the other in 2nd grade. While Keith and Amber were deep in conversation, the kids ran around the house screaming. Seeing this made me feel dizzy. Huh? Are you going out, Keith? Yeah. Oh, then can you drop me off? Just at the station is fine. Sure. Amber asked to be driven since Keith was going out. While watching them, I gently called her sons to stop them from running around. You know, it's dangerous to run inside the house. Shut up. The kids didn't listen to me at all and started making even more noise. Oh, Sarah, I'm heading out now, so please take care of my sons. I thought this was going to happen, but yeah, I guess I was right. Amber said without any hint of remorse. What? No, I can't. As I promptly refused, Keith glared at me sharply. You? Don't you think about letting Amber rest a bit since she's tired from parenting all the time? But I have plans in the afternoon. To this, Keith sighed dramatically, as if it was to show his exasperation. Your plans can wait, right? Why don't you help Amber have a break for once? You really lack kindness. Keith unilaterally dropped the statement and quickly got ready to leave the house with Amber. I'll come pick them up tonight. I'll drive you not just to the station, but to wherever you're going. And I'll come back to pick you up, too. Really? I love you for being such a reliable big brother. Keith showed kindness to Amber that he rarely showed to me. Amber said some insincere words of apology while having a smile spilling over her face. Without paying any mind to her own sons causing a ruckus, she left with Keith. It's always like this. Keith has always been extremely lenient with his sister, prioritizing her even over our marriage. Whenever I tried to complain, he would scold me, saying I'm unkind and lacking compassion. Even when we had our child, he wasn't pleased. I was deeply hurt when he showed reluctance, saying, I'm happy for us, but the timing is bad. Amber got married quite late, after turning 30. So when I found out I was pregnant, she was still single. A child in our home, even though Amber isn't married yet. I can't forget how Keith muttered that, worrying about his sister's marriage more than his own child. I thought they were close siblings, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. But that was just the beginning of a nightmare. It was when her marriage was decided. I, of course, agreed to my husband's wish to send a wedding gift to his sister. When we got married, she didn't send us a gift, but she had just started working then, so I didn't mind. But when I saw the gift my husband had bought, I couldn't believe my eyes. What? That can't be Amber's wedding gift, can it? Yes, it is. Why? In his hand was a bag from that high-end brand, radiating its name conspicuously. A bag from that brand cost at least $3,000, and it was too big to be a small accessory. I didn't know what was inside, but I thought it must be worth at least a few $1,000s, and I was furious. That's outrageous. I've never heard of giving such an expensive gift for a wedding. I knew my husband was too soft on his sister. I was concerned about the gift, but I hadn't said anything until then. But this time, I couldn't keep silent. What? It should be fine. She said this is what she wants, and I want to make her happy. That's ridiculous. It's too expensive. And I think it's questionable for Amber to even request such a thing, too. I vented all the frustration I had been holding inside, taking advantage of my husband's leniency to do whatever she wants. Is it really okay to be in such a state, even though she's getting married? That's what I had been thinking all along. At my words, my husband's face turned red, and he swiped a glass off the table. The glass shattered with a loud noise, and I gasped as it seemed to express his anger. I had never seen my husband get so angry before, and I froze in place with fear. Looking at my husband panting in rage, I couldn't say anything. Don't say such things. I'm sorry. Realizing I should not provoke him further, all I could do was apologize. Our young son was upstairs. What if something happened, seeing his father like this? With that thought, I realized I could no longer speak up to my husband. I thought that once Amber got married, she would surely show some restraint. But I had been naive. Even after that, Amber's selfishness did not subside, but escalated. Having moved close by after marriage, she, a housewife with too much time on her hands, often dropped by unannounced. While my son was young, I was working reduced hours and was home often, but that was not to take care of Amber's children. I was fed up with her showing up all the time, regardless of whether it was a weekend or a weekday evening. Moreover, she never stayed quiet when she visited. She would open the fridge without asking and eat the food or even take it home. I often realized things I had bought were gone, and I couldn't make the meals I had planned. Amber, we plan our meals and buy groceries accordingly. It's a problem if you just take things home unannounced. But Keith said I could. What? Despite my admonitions, it was always the same, and she would even exaggerate when she told me off to my husband. Then I would end up being severely scolded by him. You yelled at Amber, didn't you? I told you she's struggling because her husband doesn't make enough money. A little food is no big deal. But if it's that much trouble, she could work too. Enough. Don't think about taking it out on Amber. I knew from her complaints that her husband wasn't earning much. But then she could work part-time instead of being a full-time housewife. But when I suggested this to my husband, he would just cut me off. Just shut up. That was always his response. Things got even harder after Amber had children. She must think of our home as some kind of daycare. She would drop by unannounced, push her children on me, and go out by herself. Amber's willful sons would throw temper tantrums when things didn't go their way. I was at my wit's end, but couldn't let the house be torn apart. Only my son Kevin helped me keep an eye on them. You okay? Dad and Aunt Amber are ridiculous. It's not fair that only you have to endure all this. Thanks. Kevin must have been observing our interactions since he was young. He began to despise his father and detest his aunt intensely. There were times he complained to his father, but it was dismissed as if I had put him up to it. One day, my husband and Amber came home together. That day, she had left her children with me to go out as usual. I had a bad feeling seeing her smirk. Hey, we're moving out of this house in a month, so start preparing for the move. What? Confused by what my husband meant, he continued. Amber's family has many children, And it's going to be tough as they grow, right? Kevin will be leaving home soon, and such a big house will be too much for us. My confusion deepened. Wait, what do you mean? This house will go to my sister's family. Understand? What? If you say no, then divorce is the only option. What? My husband raised his voice and handed me the divorce papers, already filled out in his section. He looked at me with a smirk. Sarah, I'm sorry about this. Instead of my husband, Amber joyfully explained. She had discussed with my husband that her husband's salary had decreased again, and honestly, it was even hard to pay rent, and she felt sorry for her growing sons. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a wonderful house like yours? She murmured wistfully. Easily swayed by her words, my husband must have agreed. I was at a loss for words at such an unbelievable turn of events. My husband declared that in a month, Amber and her family will live here. Wait a minute. There's more than a year until Kevin leaves, but we're moving now? And where are we supposed to go? You find a place and handle the paperwork. My husband threw those words at me. Amber, oblivious to my panic, told her sons running around that they would be moving into this house. It's useless talking to these people. I was helplessly rooted to the spot. Kevin, can we talk? When my husband was not around, I spoke to my son. I told him that his father is saying something outrageous, and he won't listen to anything I had to say. Kevin listened silently with a frown. Mom, are you okay with this? Yeah, I think we should move out. I'll make sure you don't have to struggle, so don't worry. It's all right. I'm aiming for state universities, and there always are scholarships, right? Don't worry about it. Please, trust me. It might get a little chaotic, but I told him I have a plan, so he should focus on his studies without worry. As I said this, Kevin chuckled. Who do you think you're dealing with? I'm your son, after all. Yes, indeed. You're a son to be proud of. Ah, I was wondering how long you'd endure this, so I'm relieved you've made up your mind. Laughing with my son, I felt a bit relieved. 1 month after my husband unilaterally declared our move out, Amber's family arrived, carrying a load of belongings, looking happy. They looked around the inside of our house, which we had completely cleared out, and smiled satisfied. What? You took the washing machine? I was planning on using that. And even the refrigerator? There really is nothing left. I was told to clear everything out, so that's what I did. You really are inflexible. I think you'd understand with a little thought. Just a little thought? I can't keep up with their way of thinking. No matter how much I think about it, I couldn't understand. Without any objection and just a smile from me, my husband glared at me in irritation. Unconcerned, Amber's family walked around inside the now empty house. It's as if they were inspecting it. My husband nodded, satisfied. What? What is this? I don't know whose it is, but isn't there luggage left? What? Amber was surprised when she saw our room, and my husband widened his eyes along with her. It was my husband's room. He was surprised that his own room had been left as it was. What does this mean? What? I was told to clear out our stuff, so I moved mine and my son's. What? You and Amber are family, right? You care more about your sister than us, right? What are you talking about? Stop sulking. This isn't funny. We're just about to bring in Amber's stuff now. It seems like what I wanted to say didn't get through to my husband at all. Yes, of course. I'll live in a new home with my family. What? So you should live with yours, right here in this house. It seems he finally understood what I meant. My husband's face stiffened in surprise. Do you understand what you're saying? Amber, I don't know if he has told you about this, but I'll leave this for you. Ignoring my husband, I handed the documents to Amber, bewildered. The envelope had the name of a bank. What? This is about changing the loan to your name. Wait, you mean the loan on this house? Yes, of course. It hasn't been 10 years yet. There's over 20 years left on the loan, so you'll have to take care of the remaining payments. Amber trembled. Her husband still hadn't grasped the situation and asked foolishly, What do you mean? I was told we could live here for free. I didn't know anything about it. What is all this, Keith? A loan? Wait, what? No. Well, there's still some of the loan remaining. Why didn't you tell me? While my husband and Amber's family were confused, I just sighed. But about half of the loan is already paid off. The rest we can pay off, right? Well, Sarah has a low-paying job, right? I guess maybe I should work a little then, and we'll be fine. Uh-huh. Their overly optimistic talk made me start laughing, too. Really? My mischievous laughter made my husband panic. So how much is the loan per month? $1,800. What? Amber froze at the amount I mentioned. Hey, I don't know what my husband told you, but about my job? I'm a tax accountant. I'm actually certified. What? A tax accountant? It seemed my husband really hadn't told her anything. Amber had her mouth agape, hearing this for the first time. I knew that my husband disliked the fact that I, a certified tax accountant, earned a decent salary. He probably hated that I earned much more than him. So my vain and prideful husband would never admit that in front of others. I haven't heard such a thing. How can we pay $1,800 every month? Say something, Keith, Amber cried out, clinging to him. Well, why don't you pay for them then? I asked my husband. What? Isn't she your precious family? You always told me to help her out. Why didn't you pay the loan for Amber? When I suggested this, my husband, misunderstanding something, said, Right, then you help too. Let's pay for Amber's house loan together. What a foolish husband. To think he would say that now. I was utterly astounded. Why have I been helping such a foolish man? No, because I'm not your family anymore. There's no reason for me to do anything for you. What? You gave me the divorce papers, didn't you? That if I refuse to help, it means divorce? No, I was unable to accept it. You always prioritize your sister, and Amber does whatever she wants. That's why I filed for divorce. When I told him this, my husband collapsed to his knees, stunned. That wasn't my intention. You might have thought that, but it's always been hard for me. But now I feel so relieved. I smiled, looking down at my husband, and handed the house keys to Amber, flustered. Here you go. Feel free to use it as much as you like. Afterward, Amber's family could not afford to pay the mortgage, and apparently had to give up on moving there. I didn't hear anything about a mortgage. It should be Keith who pays. Amber insisted on living in that house no matter what, but it was impossible. It was impossible for my ex-husband with his salary to cover both the mortgage for that house and his living expenses. My ex-husband, always too lenient on his sister, found that he could not give what he did not have. Despite being so close, this incident led to a fight and caused a split between the siblings. My ex-husband was apparently berated by Amber as useless. After moving out of the previous house, Amber's family was unable to afford a new apartment big enough for a family of 4. I heard they were living crammed in a cheap, small apartment. Surely the kids don't even have space to run around, let alone walk. And so my ex-husband has truly become alone. He tried to contact me and our son, but I completely ignored him. I then went through a lawyer to demand child support. The lump sum for child support was small, but I planned to use it for my son's university fund. To raise that money, it seems he had to sell that house. It doesn't matter to me anymore, though. My son and I had rented an apartment, and we were able to start a new life. I no longer have to witness my ex-husband spoiling his sister, nor suffer the repercussions. Life without Amber has been incredibly pleasant. Later, my son got into his dream university and started living alone not too far away. As for me, I have some good news. I was appointed as the head of a new office. I had been discussing launching this new office with the president for a while, and he had asked if I wanted to try running it. I had thought about going independent, but had given up thinking of my ex-husband's opposition. But now that I've started a new life, it's an opportunity I can't miss. So I took the president's offer and decided to take charge of the new office. My son has moved out, and although I'm alone, I'm too busy and fulfilled to feel lonely. The time has finally come for me to spread my wings widely. With these wings, I will continue to soar high. After all, this is my life.